We also now have a question from Claire. Claire, go ahead. Claire? I guess we lost Claire. All righty. Are there any other questions?
I had a question. It was from somebody else. I wanted to redo the income and expense deal again. We had some people send me little text messages talking about that.
Okay.
If, again, we go over some good examples on your setup of the income expenses. Do you have any in there? Catering, if you put electricity, or let's say add labor, for example. And I know one district, the way they wanted to use this is that they wanted to put that estimated labor cost in as, say, $10 per hour. So if they put in 8 hours of labor for the day on the income and expense profit and loss report, it would estimate the labor for that day at $80. And again, it's estimated, obviously, because everybody's hour costs a little bit differently. That's one way to put it in, which would show up on the report. Second is to use the general income expense and put in a lump sum, once a month. Say my labor for the month was $1,500. Then they put that in on that one day, whatever it may be. When you run your income profit and loss report, it'll calculate it all out for the entire month to know that you had X number of dollars of labor. Therefore, you got a better profit and loss, more accurate profit and loss for the month. So that's one of two ways to do it on the income expenses. Anybody else asking a question without typing, you can also click the little hand on the top right, and we'll enable the microphone for you guys.
All right, we have a question from Cheryl.
I didn't state it well enough.
We got a question from Cheryl. Go ahead, Cheryl.
Okay.
Go ahead, Cheryl.
Jay actually answered my question.
All righty. Thank you. All right, we got a question from Claire. Claire, go ahead. Claire? All righty, how about
maybe if Claire can't work, she can get it to work. She can just text it, type a little note in there, Claire, and we can say it for you.
Yeah, go ahead, Debbie.
Yes, Dean. If we go back to the cafeteria POS only maintenance for the managers, is there a way to lock down the roles they get to choose from? The maintenance.
No, those roles are set. They can't, basically, any of the roles you put are only entailed to point of sale mode. So even if you have full control there, they will have full control of the point of sale. They can't do anything in Newton. It only applies to the first. Go to the permission section, Dean. And permission cafeteria, there you go. Basic, see all the ones at the top there that have POS in parentheses? Those are the only things that a POS-only user can or can't do, depending on what setting they put there. But a manager, has full rights anyway, so if she accidentally puts someone to that, she shouldn't. I mean, it defaults to line operator, but we needed to leave it available so they can pick anything. Because let's say, you're a district and you wanted to have a student as a user, you may want to give them different rights, so you got to be able to select the different ones instead of just putting it just to line operator. So that's why that is. But again, it's no security breach in the fact that they can only do those things.
All right,
they can only log into Newton POS as well.
There was one that is voting sales too.
What?
They don't want them to be able to edit or void sales.
No, absolutely not.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Are there any other questions? I believe David has another one. David, go ahead.
Did somebody click on it? I didn't.
I wasn't there. Tell him I wasn't here.
I think there was an error.
Oh, okay. Are you? All righty. I don't see any other questions. Thank you again for attending, and we will have a video of this webcast, of this webinar available for you. Thank you very much.
I'd like to finish up with one thing. If we could, this is our first webinar. I think it went pretty well, but if you guys could give us some feedback on what you thought of it and improvements that we could make, if you want to just send them directly to me, I'll take them. I think it went pretty well. So thanks for attending, and you will be receiving an email when the release is officially out, which we expect probably the next day or so. We're going to put it available so it can be downloaded.
We got one more question, Jay.
Okay.
Go ahead, Barbara. Barbara? Okay. I see the hand up. I thought that was a question.
So I don't know if that's glitches with the software or accident. So y'all let us know if you did have any problems getting that question across.
All righty. Tom, do you have a question?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Go
Can you
ahead.
hear me? Okay. My question is, when the release does come out, how much general maintenance are we going to have to go into correct some of these things, like the just the general stuff for the schools, like the defaults and stuff? Is that just going to default back to what it actually is, or are we going to have to actually go in and change those?
Right. You shouldn't have to do anything, Tom. You should. The new things we do, we turn them off. So in order to use them, you'd have to turn them on. There's some things we might have took the liberty to do, but it shouldn't affect your everyday, operations.
But I would go in and, like I said, if you want to take advantage of that variance feature, then you would have to go in and define that. If you wanted to go out, if you wanted to define the check number feature, again, you would have to go in and define that. Otherwise, there's no changes made.
It keeps the default of whatever you were set at.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All righty, everybody. Thank you very much for attending. Goodbye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.